Yo, what's up, team? What's up? I'm just chilling in the backyard, man. Chilling like a villain, cooling like I'm ruling. But we up 4,500, probably close to 5,000. It's been a great couple weeks. It's been a great couple weeks. I know yesterday, today is what today is the 8th. Today is the 8th. What is this? Tuesday. The market GBPUSD just set here. It's set in consolidation all day long, from London session all the way through New York session. And now we're on, this is Asia session right now. This is 8:44 Tuesday evening. And finally, GBP USD wants to move. It happens like that. You got to be patient, and you just got to sit on that building like a sniper, and you just lay there and you just wait and you just wait and you just wait and you just lock in. The patience that you have to have is of a sniper that's sitting on that building just waiting for his target. And that's what I'm trying to preach to the team every week, every day in the community. We wait, we wait. And that's exactly the example that I told them. And yes, I only trade 3 currency pairs. At times, there might be a day where I don't get into a trade. But that's okay, because 80%, shoot, 90% of the time, I'm going to get a trade somewhere in the day. You know, I'm going to find a trade. So it's worth being patient for. My thing is patience is action. Patience is action. And you always got to remember that. In trading, you have to constantly dial it back, dial your emotions back, check in with yourself. You got to do daily check-ins. And weekly, at the end of the week, you got to check in with yourself. You got to sit down and evaluate how were your emotions during that trading week. You have to do that. Nobody talks about that. But you have to dial it back. You have to take a step back and examine your actions, your habits, how you felt that week. Shoot, even every day, every night if you can, but definitely every week. All right, team. So GBP USD got to start you on the daily chart. I encourage all beginners to start on the daily chart and get an understanding. Okay. And so what you have to ask yourself, are you in an extension or a retracement when you're on the daily chart? And then right here, when this red drop was happening, that is called a retracement. On the daily chart, you're in a retracement. Why? You may say you're in a trend, a downtrend. You're not in a downtrend on the daily chart. The trend is up. You were pulling back on the daily chart. So that's a retracement. And this part that I just circled right here, this area right here, that is called an extension. That's the trend. Okay. So you got to figure out, are you in an extension or a retracement? Okay, on the daily chart. So that's going to determine how you're going to trade on the lower time frames. Okay, so we pulled, it dropped. So you got to pull out a Fibonacci, and you want to go from this low point right here, and you want to drag it up to the trend, where the trend went. It was an uptrend, right? There you go. All right, and it came down to the 786. Okay, so sometimes you're going to come down to that 786 and you're going to be below the 50 moving average. That's a different story. But today you came down to the 786, just above that demand zone level, which is the 2 blue lines at the bottom of my Fibonacci level. The 786 is the last line of defense, bars. The 786 is the last line of defense. That's why it's red. Once it breaks through that, yes, I may take buys from that 886 100% level, that demand zone, but only to a certain extent, because it blew past that 786. So then I'm going to ultimately be looking for sales. But it stopped at the 786. And it just so happened stopped at the 50 moving average on the daily. So now in my mind, I'm looking for buy opportunities on the lower time frame. When it was dropping down to that 786, I'm just watching. I'm just watching. So then it hits that 50 moving average, right? And you see that green, that green candle that came right after it. This one right here. You see that green candle. I'm not doing anything on that green candle. I'm watching. All right, now let's go down to the 4-hour chart just so you can see. Okay. Now, as I go to this 4-hour chart, it becomes a little bit clearer what's happening. You see these doji candles starting to pop up on the 4-hour chart. I'm not making any calls on the 4-hour chart. I'm just showing you that the picture is starting to become a little clearer. Now that you're on the hour chart, you're starting to see higher lows being made. All right, let me mark them out for you. Here's a low, a higher low, right? A higher low. If you just made money from this move here, that's 5,000 for me. That may be 500 for you. That may be $50 for you, depending on your account size. But do you see how you breaking it down from the daily, getting an understanding? You go to the lower time frames. Now I'm on the hour chart and I'm starting to see my entry levels. All right, so now you can see how you can get in on these trades. Okay, this is how I'm viewing these charts. Go down to the 30-minute. And it's even clearer. Now, the 30-minute is where I'm practically entering in on. 30-minute or 15, but nowadays it's usually been the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart has been my entry time frame and where I look for retests. Now, look at this. This thing retests twice on the 50 moving average. All right, look at this. Price retest. It made a higher low. And it retested on the 50 twice. You got to get in on one of those trades, especially if you analyzed it properly from the daily chart, like I just showed you. Things become clearer and easier when you get down to the lower time frames now, what direction you're going in. And that's simply all you had to do to catch this trade. Every day is different. All right. Every day is different. And you got to figure out what tool do you need. You don't need to use a Fibonacci tool every single time you trade. Sometimes it's not called for it. All right. You don't need to use a 50 moving average every time you open up the charts, but sometimes you need to use that tool. Sometimes you need to use the MACD. Matter of fact, speaking of the MACD, check this out. On the hour chart, look at the MACD pulling back up. Now it is underneath the histogram. That's the other part I wanted to show you. The MACD, and I got the MACD, the settings are basic. I don't got nothing custom. It's just default, all right? So whenever you put the MACD on your chart, however it comes is how I have it right now. All right, just in case you're wondering, all right? So the MACD is pulling back. The blue line is above the orange one. It's coming, but it is under the histogram. So that means it's pulling back to something, all right? It's pulling back to something. It's just pulling back. If the blue and the orange line was above the histogram, then we're clearly in buy territory, a buyer's market again. But it's pulling back, but it's still under the green histogram. So that means it's just pulling back to somewhere. It's your job to figure out where it's pulling back to. Guess what? The golden zone. That's what it was pulling back to when it was at that 786, that red line down there. Let me show you. See that? That 786 level, that red line. That's where it stopped at that 786 and it's pulling back to the golden zone. Now it might come all the way up to the top part of the golden zone, which is this yellow line. It may come back up there, but I know it's pulling back to the golden zone. So that's where I'm going to be cautious at. And me, I'm scalping the glory. That's this whole series about 2025 is scalping to glory. I'm not finna be holding no trades for 3 days. I'm showing you guys you can scalp this. You can scalp your accounts to big amounts. Bars. Your boy spitting tonight. You can scalp your accounts to big amounts. We scalping the glory. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm on. All right. So we just going up. So basically we just reached halfway to the golden zone. I might try to hold it just a little bit more and get some more out of it, but I'm done. You know what I mean? 5,000 is plenty. And you do that 3 times a week. That's crazy. You about making somebody's salary a month. almost. Hey guys, look, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I worked at Office Max, all right? And if you guys are just coming to my channel, I used to work at Office Max. And I became a manager there, but I was still broke. You're not gonna be rich working at Office Max, okay? So I was working at Office Max. I would eat pork and beans and chips for lunch every day for like a year to save money for my account. My family didn't eat like that. I had to sacrifice and eat like that. So I grew my account to 20,000. When you guys can do that, especially if you're in America, you can do that. Couple years of taxes, just stack up them taxes. Stop blowing that money on TVs and everything else. Save your money, try to get to 20,000. From 20,000 in 1 year, you should be, if you're following me, if you're following my trade setups and the mentorship, you should be able to grow that in about a year's time to close to 50,000, or maybe a year and a half, depending on how much you work and how much time you got on the charts. But you should be able to grow that to 50,000. So grow that 20,000 to 50,000. It shouldn't take you forever to do that. Maybe a year and a half, right? So then, once you get to 50,000, it's not going to be hard at all to get to 100,000. And once you get to 100,000, you will never have to work again. You will never have to work again. And you ain't got to be trading all day and holding trades for a long time to get a decent amount of pips for yourself. You can just go 10 pips a day and make a good living and never have to work again. Straight up. So I encourage you guys to do that. Your journey starts now. Find me in Discord. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to push nothing, but listen, this is the truth. People, you guys need to wake up and get on your grind. And you gotta know who's real out here. I've been in this game for a minute, and I've been getting stronger and getting wiser every single video, every single year. And I'm not being led by a designer. You know, I'm not being inspired by designer clothes, designer Lambos, and all of this stuff. Like I'm not a designer guy. All right. I'm led by, I live by a different set of rules. The set of rules that I live by, for me, is the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm not ashamed to say it. That's the code that I live by. So by living by the Lord Jesus Christ, there is no funny business going on with me. There is no, all of a sudden my flesh I wanna let my flesh come into play, and now I wanna start doing people wrong, or I just wanna abandon people. I live by integrity. So if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to teach people how to trade by the rules that I live by, I have to master this daily. If I'm going to step out and help people and try to help people, I have to make sure that my T's are crossed, my I's are dotted. Because that's the set of rules that I live by. So you got to understand who's real out here and who matches up with your set of rules, the set of rules that you live by. All right. So that's all I want to say about that. But look, when it comes to getting this money, anybody can do it. All right. You ain't got to live for God if you don't want to. That's your options. That's your decision. It's plenty of people that don't live for God, that just out here existing, making money trading. But I'm just telling you that that's how I operate. And you need to have somebody helping you with morals and a set of ethics and integrity, or you're just going to get played in the end when they feel like they want to play you. That's real talk. I saw price pulling back, so I had to get a second entry. You already know we not playing. We not playing. So let me show you on the chart right quick. Right here, you see how those red candles was pulling back? Right up in here. Boom, I took another entry. And like I said, we riding halfway up to the golden zone. It might even go up to the top golden zone. But look, when you got $18,000 in one day, this is what you do. Boom. Boom. That's what you do. And that's how you scalp to glory. Just like that. And I'm doing it right before y'all eyes. And I'm showing you every step of the way. Y'all already know I'm gonna lace y'all all the way up. It's game time. So listen, if you wanna win more trades, you gotta let the market reveal itself to you, okay? I have a video that it teaches you how to be patient and let the market reveal itself to you. It's gonna teach you how to be patient. I want you to click that video right here in the corner, and it's gonna help educate what to look for, how to be patient. Click that video, it's gonna lace you up, I guarantee you. How to let the market reveal itself to you, all right? Hey, don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe. And let's make this money, baby. Peace.